This is called The Day on Pedlar. I only had to ask the boy once this morning to get up for school. He marched down the stairs, all smiles, ate his whole breakfast, pensive, without fuss, had his uniform on before the coffee hit my brain. He was waiting in the porch come 8:15, and we were off. I took in an early meeting then, tapped into that whole higher power business. Because I've been hoarding away those royalties, I picked up a load of pressure treated and rebuilt the back deck before 10 o'clock. Then a priest came by, one whom I'm quite fond of, and anointed it with holy water so that every barbecue hereafter will be a roaring success of flame-broiled ecstasy. After that, I stripped down the GS 850 and figured out it was just a silly base pan gasket that I resealed myself to save some further bucks. It'll never act up again. Upon a test ride, I discovered the old girl could finally do what the speedometer says she can do. So I drove out to motor vehicle and had her registered and insured. Next, I hightailed it to the house in Silly Cove, tore off the worst of the clapboard, replaced a couple of the larger windows, patched that bastard leak around the chimney, hauled away the last of the fence, whippersnipped the front yard, culled the ollers, and lugged the old collapsed stable to the dump. Back to St. John's to collect the boy before 5. On the way in, I stopped off for a meal at Legs and finally nailed that waitress with the trashy highlights. Called my girlfriend, told her all about it. She laughed, said I was a wild one, and to please save some for her. To the bank, settled up that niggling mortgage. Quick drink with the tax man. Then the boy's supper, all veggies and tofu, which he devoured. Then he did the dishes, dove into his homework. I tried to get him to watch some TV, but he would not. Said he had laundry to do. He was waiting in bed with teeth brushed and fingernails trimmed before I even had the tea bag in the cup. He told me a bedtime story about a writer who wins $6 million and collects vintage motorcycles and never writes another word for the rest of his life. I cried at the end. All this by 8 o'clock. And then a gracious, conscientious letter to Miss Hunter in Vancouver, Diane on Rexton Island, Alicia in Harlem, Jenny in Brandon. Each word deliciously placed and damn near romantic. To the truck for a major victory with a rare sway bar. Every tool I needed was right there in the box. After that, my father called to tell me he was always jealous of my brains, that mine were the finest books he's ever read, and that he heard I had a cock to rival a French baguette. I told him if it was clemency he was looking for, then he dialed the right number. Before lights out, I wrapped up the novel. Christ, it all came so clear in the end. Thanks very much. You all stand out.